Hi everyone, I'm Ali GREYMOND. Today I wanted to talk to you about the first stage of process of recovery. So the process of recovery has many steps, and no matter what kind of OCD theme you have, pretty much the steps are the same. The way the brain adjusts is pretty much the same, and I always get a lot of questions on it. And the first stage of recovery, so this is when the person started to do exposure work. So say they were going through OCD, they didn't know what it was or that it was actually OCD, so they were doing compulsions, they were doing reassurance, and now the person really started to focus on recovery. So what happens at that point? So as soon as the person starts to resist, what happens is the brain actually sends more thoughts. The anxiety towards each thought is not necessarily going to go up. Sometimes it might, sometimes it won't, but the sheer number of the thoughts is going to go up. And if the person does react to the thoughts, then the anxiety will go up as well. But either way, the number of thoughts is going to go up dramatically. So the person a lot of the times will say, maybe I'm doing something wrong because I'm getting way more thoughts, my brain is being way more aggressive than it's ever been, right? And you have to look at it from the brain's point of view, so to speak. You were choosing to react with fear. You were doing all of the compulsion, protecting yourself, and the brain's like, okay, you're protecting yourself, that's great, because the brain doesn't know what it is. At one point, you said to your brain, you sent the signal that this thought is dangerous. So your brain said, okay, it's dangerous. Don't worry. I'll bring it up every time, all the time, all day long. I'll bring it up. And every time it did, it wanted you to protect yourself, to do compulsions, which you did, which reinforced the idea that this thought is still dangerous, still needs to be brought up. Now it's bringing it up, but your reaction is different. You're choosing not to react. You're choosing not to do compulsions. You're choosing not to protect yourself. In your brain's eye, you're choosing not to protect yourself from danger. So the only way to get you back into the reaction of fear, into protecting yourself, is to send you all the thoughts it can possibly come up with on this theme, or if you have a secondary theme, it might switch between the two, or it might find variations of this theme, or it might do all of the above kind of thing. But it will pull all the stops to get you back into reaction. That's normal. That happens to every single person who has OCD, who starts to actively do work. And the more active the person is in the beginning, the more this kind of comes down like a ton of bricks, But this period will not last. And you will see that even though you're getting a lot of thoughts, because they're switching so fast, none of them have the ability to actually really grab on and really kind of stick in your mind for a long time. They just don't have that power. But because they're switching all the time, it can get exhausting. You can feel tired. I'm going to go over tiredness in another video, because that's also a very common OCD symptom. There's nothing that's normal. This is just a process of OCD recovery. So what you have to keep in mind, that yes, you are being asked to be the strongest when you are at your weakest in the first stage, right? Because you have no experience in fighting this. You have to be pushing as hard as possible, and it's very, very difficult. But it will get easier the more you do it. You just really have to really buckle down in the beginning, so to speak, and really push through. It will not last forever. It's just a temporary stage, but if you don't buckle down, if you don't take the recovery as your utmost priority and really 80%, 70% of the time do the right thing, push through, this stage of sending you as many thoughts as possible will last indefinitely. Because again, from the brain's point of view, what's happening? So you started to not pay attention to the thoughts. You started to put yourself in danger, again, from the brain's point of view, right? But then you went back and said, okay, never mind, it is dangerous, I should react. And then you do some compulsions, and then you go back and then you're like, no, never mind. No, it's not. I changed my mind again. And you keep doing this kind of, like back and forth thing. And the brain is just getting more confused. You need to send a very clear message of way more than 50-50. It has to be about I mean, I don't expect anybody to be perfect in their recovery, because that's just not realistic. I never see people be perfect in their recovery. It's a step-by-step process. As they get better, they become more and more, like it's say 80-20, 80% doing the right thing, 20% sorry, had to do a compulsion, then 90-10, and then as the anxiety goes down, then they do reach that perfection of just not doing compulsions at all. But it's an ongoing process. And in the beginning, again, when you're at your weakest and you're asked to be at your strongest, I don't expect perfection, but I do expect to be around that number of 80-20, at least 70-30, at least that, because you need to send a clear message. Anything below that, it's just like you're flip-flopping right back and forth, and the brain will not know, okay, so is this important or not, because you keep changing your mind. So you just tell me what it is. Like, this is the brain's point of view, and it will continue to send the thoughts, because from its logic, right, that it's 50% of the time, or say 40% of the time, if you're doing 60-40, right, you are saying that this thought is dangerous. So you are doing compulsions. You're saying you're validating. By doing compulsions, you're validating that this is important, So the more you do that, the stronger your brain will react, and the more thoughts it will send you, the more it will try to get you back into constantly doing compulsions. So you have to be very, very strong. I get how difficult it is. That's why, I was actually looking on YouTube, and I've been, I think my first video was in 2010, which has been so long ago. I've been doing this for many, many years. And I can tell you that, it's the reason why I started to do this is because of that, because of how difficult it is in the beginning. Like, once you are, like 5 out of 10 OCD, 4 out of 10 OCD, it's a lot easier to push. And even then it's challenging, But when you're at 10 out of 10 OCD and you really can't even, get a clear enough mind to just do anything, to do the right thing is very difficult. And there's just, that's why I started, because there wasn't not enough support. Seeing somebody once a week is not enough. It has to be, that's why I have the programs set up the way it is, because it has to be every day or every other day. There has to be text support, because the person is not having a thought once a week. They might be seeing their therapist once a week, but they're not having a thought once a week. They're having thoughts every moment of every day. Anyways, as usual, I digress. But so in the beginning, this is what's going to happen. So you just have to stay really, really strong when it comes to your recovery. This is your number one priority. Everything else is secondary. It doesn't matter what it is. Everything else is secondary, because everything else depends on your recovery. To be at your best in other things, you need to recover first. So that has to be the priority. So no matter what, if you're having this pummeling effect, it's okay. It's normal. It happens to everybody. It will pass, but you have to choose not to react with fear. The fear is there, it's coming in, but you're actively choosing not to react over and over and over again. Eventually, you will see it will start to go down, but the first few weeks, you just have to be really, really strong. Take that. It feels like you're taking a chance on something extremely important. So say that to yourself, right? I'm taking a chance. Everybody's going to die. Everything bad is going to happen. But I'm sick of having OCD, and I'm putting the recovery from OCD as my top priority. Nothing panned out in all the years, all the months I've been worried about this. Nothing has ever panned out. So I'm going to take the chance that this and this and this and this are all OCD thoughts as well. And I'm just going to move forward with my day and focus on things that are actually important. And just take that attitude and keep having this attitude throughout the day. I hope you find these videos helpful. If you would like to do the recovery program, all the information is on youhaveocd.com. If you would like to hear more on the second and third stages of the recovery, please subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.